Hello everyone! This is Loopyless and welcome back to Planet Zoo, where we are of course making another habitat today, and this one is going to be all about the Greater Flamingo. Don't forget, if you like what you see, feel free to hit that like button, and if you haven't already and you enjoyed it that much, feel free to subscribe as well. And don't forget, you can hit that notification bell to get notifications from whenever I upload. So that's great if you want to see more Planet Zoo content by me. Anyway, these famous pink birds can be found in warm, watery regions on many continents. They favour environments like estuaries and saline or alkaline lakes. Considering their appearance, flamingos are surprisingly fluid swimmers, but really thrive on the extensive mudflats where they breed and feed. Okay, with this habitat, my initial plan was to do like some kind of island, which you can see taking shape here. Now you bet you're wondering, how are the keepers going to get onto that island? Well, the plan was initially to have just a very basic little bridge, rather than have the land connected to the mainland. I felt like having a little bridge, just a very basic log bridge going across, would be suffice enough, and it was. So I didn't have to worry about making it a complete island, even though the waters are quite shallow. Because I do have the deep ends and then you have the more shallowy bits so they can just walk into the water and then they can go into the deeper regions where they please. Observing them in game, I did notice that they did prefer the more shallow areas, but there were a couple that were going to float out onto the deeper parts as well, so it was nice to have that little variety there for them. Now, these flamingos live and feed in groups called flocks or colonies. They find safety in numbers, which helps to protect individual birds from predators while their heads are down in the mud. Flamingo flock sizes range from a few birds to a few hundred, and even more than that. The average flock size is estimated to be about 100 birds. So with that in mind, I wanted to keep this habitat looking very, very spacious and very, very roomy for a couple of hundred flamingos if you wanted to chuck that many in here. Maybe not a couple of hundred, maybe like up to 100. I didn't really test that. There are about 12 or 14 in here with testing. I don't know if they need more space than that, but it does show that there is enough water and land, like plenty of it. So if you did want to put more than that number in there, then I think they'd be okay. The only issue you might have is hard shelter. Now, as you can see, this is another habitat that's going to be a rock barrier. I just love the way it looks, I can't help it. It looks way better than just the normal barrier, so I like to keep with what I like. But it works well for this habitat, it really encloses in that island, and it makes it look more natural than just a, concrete barrier or the log barrier, though the log barrier isn't too bad. I like to keep it, if I'm gonna go with rocks, I'm not gonna go just part rocks, I'm gonna go rocks all around. Also, just a heads up, I do have a cold coming. My throat is being funny. Now, I'm not warning you to, make you stay away from me, because obviously I'm not going to be able to give you a cold from across the internet. But my voice does sound a little bit funny. I'm not sure if it's just me, but in parts I sound funny, because I got a tickly throat and my nose is a bit funny as well. So, apologies for that, and I bet you any money that I'm probably going to have a cold directly on Christmas Day, because that happened to me last year and the year before that, and probably the year before that as well. It is my luck that I will have at least a cold on Christmas Day. So, fingers crossed that doesn't happen to me this year, and that this is the only cold that I actually have this time around. Anyway, enough about me and my funny face, my funny cold and what have you. Let's get back on topic with those flamingos. So, the greater flamingos are omnivores and filter feeders. Flamingos mainly feed during the day and use their long legs and webbed feet to stir up the bottom of the water, where they then sweep their bills upside down through the water. A flamingo's bill has a filter-like structure to remove food from the water before the liquid is drained. Water is sucked in through the partly open bill. As it is squeezed out again by the tongue, a row of spines along the edge of the bill filter out the tasty morsels within. They usually feed with their head fully immersed in the water, and they can remain that way for up to 20 seconds. Flamingos pump their tongues up and down 5 to 6 times per second, pushing the water out of their beak. What you'll usually find within their beaks are mollusks, plankton, crabs, tiny fish, and insect larvae. Plant material is also eaten, including grass seeds and shoots, decaying leaves, and algae. Let's talk a little bit more about what I've done here with this habitat. As you can see, I removed some of the water and placed down some hard shelter there on land. The reason for this, I felt like they're going to need a lot of hard shelter, and I didn't want the main island part to be completely sacrificed for all just shelter. So I decided just to have a little bit more land to the left, just another little kind of island, if you will, just to have that area prioritized to hard shelter so they can get out of the rain if they want to. Now, as you can see here, I am placing down the little bridges. Now, this is more for the zookeepers than the animals, because obviously these flamingos can go all across this area, into the water and onto the land. But the zookeepers don't really fancy wading into the water every time now, do they? Every time they need to clean up some flamingo poop all the way across the other side of the habitat, they don't want to go in the water. So I decided to just give them a little bridge on either side just to help them out, and they use it perfectly. They are able to traverse all the way across the habitat, and I'm very happy about that. Now, greater flamingos are not territorial birds, but they will defend their nests during breeding season. They have few natural predators, however their eggs and chicks are preyed upon by other birds, including the marabou stork. Greater flamingos build their nests in pairs. They are made out of hardened mud with a shallow depression in the top. Although a small pile of stones and debris lined with grass, twigs and feathers is used if mud is not available. One of the pairs stands over the nest site and drags mud between its webbed feet with its curved bill. The mud is then pressed into place with the bill and feet. The nest of each mating pair is situated approximately 1.5 meters from neighbouring nests, so the chick remains safe from other breeding pairs. Actually, thinking about it, it is actually quite good, realistically speaking, that I've made this habitat so big then, to have enough space for them to actually nest and make nests. However, of course, in the game they do not actually do that. It is nice to think realistically when you are making these habitats. Okay, we're not too far from finish now, just working on that foliage, and sadly they do not like too much foliage. Bit of a shame on our end because we can't absolutely flourish this place in foliage then, which I love to do, but it is also a nice challenge, so I do make sure to keep everything in the green as usual, and make sure there's just enough around to make things look pretty. And of course I'm using the tree method to allow for bigger bushes, so it's a bit more lively. Fingers crossed in the future when Planet Zoo, the developers, actually release more content for the game, which I'm sure they will, I am very much hoping for bigger bushes. Now, it's all fine and dandy using the trees as bushes, isn't it? It works out quite well and you get a different kind of flora effect. But I still wouldn't mind some actual bigger bushes. It would be very, very helpful. But I'm sure they will release more content in the future. I'm sure we'll have a vast variety in, say, 2 years. I'm sure we'll have plenty to work with in 2 years. And of course, I'm going to be looking forward to the new animals that they'll eventually put in the game as well. Because I really wouldn't mind making a habitat for penguins. And sadly, we have no penguins at the moment. But fingers crossed for the future. Okay, just tidying up a few things, adding in the enrichment items. And now we're ready to meet the flamingos in their new home. And here they are, marching through their new home and chilling out by the hard shelters out of the sun. They are loving every part of this habitat. They are using the island. They are going all across the water into the shallow areas and the deep areas. So it's very nice to see them wander everywhere. As usual, this habitat will be up on the workshop, so look for a link in the description below. And of course, feedback is always welcome, so if you think I could do something differently, please let me know in the comments. You can also recommend me an animal to do in my next habitat speed build, so feel free to do that as well, if you want to see a specific animal. I might take your recommendation for my next one, you never know. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, I really appreciate it. If you could like, comment, subscribe, share this video, I'd really appreciate that too. And I will see you in the next video. Take care now. Bye bye.